There is a weight pressing against your home right now. You may not fully see it with your physical eyes, but in the spiritual realm, a shadow has settled over your household. It is not a shadow of ordinary darkness. It is heavy, suffocating, and determined. This shadow has chosen its target, a member of your family. And if nothing is done, the shadow will claim their life tragically, suddenly, and without mercy. Perhaps you have felt it already, the strange heaviness when you wake at night, the uneasy silence when you sit alone in your room, or the way fear rises in your chest for no reason at all. That is not your imagination. That is the whisper of the shadow, announcing its intention. It prowls around like a predator, waiting for the moment of weakness, waiting for the gap in your household's protection. The enemy of your soul thrives on sudden tragedies. He delights in breaking homes, tearing hearts apart, and stealing lives before their time. And right now, he has stretched his hand towards someone you love deeply. This is not a small attack. This is not a minor inconvenience. This is a planned strike meant to shatter your spirit, to weaken your faith, and to scatter your family like leaves in a storm. Think of the subtle signs you've noticed in this family member. Have they been unusually withdrawn? Have they been facing strange misfortunes, accidents narrowly avoided, health declining without explanation, sudden arguments, or a heaviness they cannot shake? These are not coincidences. These are footprints of the shadow passing through their life. The shadow thrives in silence. It wants you to dismiss these signs as nothing, to ignore the unease in your spirit, and to push aside the warnings. Because if you ignore it long enough, it will have the power to strike. But you reading this message proves that heaven has exposed the shadow before it could complete its work. This shadow comes not only as tragedy but also as confusion. It seeks to cloud your judgment, to make you believe there is nothing wrong, to make you too distracted to notice the urgent danger. You may have already sensed that something is off in your family. Strange dreams, restless nights, sudden anger or tension, or even moments of deep sadness that make no sense. These are spiritual alarms. The shadow wants to convince you they are ordinary, but they are not. It is important to know that this shadow is not stronger than the light. It is not greater than the one who stands with you. But the shadow survives where people are silent, passive, or unaware. This is why the message is urgent. The moment you act, the shadow loses its grip. The moment you raise your voice in prayer, the shadow trembles. The moment you stand in authority, declaring life over your loved one, the shadow flees. The household under a shadow often feels like it is drowning in invisible weight. Conversations may become tense. Plans seem to fail suddenly. Finances dry up unexpectedly. Health problems appear without cause. All of this is designed to weaken your family so you do not have the strength to fight when the ultimate blow is delivered. But now you know the truth. The ultimate blow can be stopped, because the shadow has been revealed. There is something specific about your family member the shadow hates. Perhaps it is their potential, their destiny, their light that would one day shine brightly. The enemy does not waste his energy on those who carry nothing valuable. He attacks the ones who have a future worth stealing. That is why this shadow has marked your loved one. But what the enemy forgets is that heaven always raises a protector. And you are that protector. Do not underestimate the seriousness of this moment. A life is truly hanging in the balance. But do not let fear consume you either. Fear feeds the shadow. Faith destroys it. This is why you were chosen to read this message. Out of millions of people, you were given the revelation. That means you are also given the power. The shadow may linger, but it cannot endure the fire of prayer. It may whisper, but it cannot speak louder than your declarations of life. It may threaten, but it cannot stand against the shield of divine protection. Today you must decide that the shadow will not take root in your home, that the shadow will not steal your loved one, that the shadow will not write the story of your family. This is the hour of choice. You can either ignore the signs and allow tragedy to unfold, or you can rise as the guardian of your household and break the shadow before it fulfills its mission. Remember, the shadow is not permanent. It is temporary, fragile, and defeated the moment you expose it. By reading these words, you have already begun to pierce it with light. Stand firm. Do not allow the heaviness to silence you. Speak life. Declare protection. Claim the covering of heaven over your family member. Because while the shadow has targeted them for death, heaven has targeted them for life. And your action will be the deciding factor. The shadow over your household is real, but so is the power within you. One will win. Which one depends on what you choose to do right now. When heaven releases a warning, it is never without signs. Tragedy does not appear out of nowhere. The shadow always leaves traces before it makes its final strike. These traces are not always obvious, but if your spirit is awake, you will recognize them. Right now, the key to saving your family member lies in noticing what others overlook. The first sign is unexplainable heaviness. Your loved one may suddenly appear burdened, even when nothing seems wrong. They may smile less, speak less, and carry an invisible weight. Their laughter feels forced, their eyes look distant, and you may sense they are present in body but absent in spirit. That is the shadow pressing down on them, trying to weaken their inner light. The second sign is a pattern of near misses and sudden dangers. Perhaps they have narrowly escaped an accident, avoided an unusual sickness, or experienced strange circumstances where harm seemed so close. These are not coincidences. They are warnings that the enemy is circling, probing for an opening. Heaven allows these warnings to alert you before the enemy's plan is fully executed. The third sign is restlessness in the night. Dreams may become troubled, filled with images of darkness, death, or confusion. You may wake suddenly at odd hours with your loved one on your mind, feeling compelled to pray. This is not random. Your spirit is being stirred as a guard over their life. When your sleep is disturbed, it is often heaven's alarm ringing in your heart. The fourth sign is strange conflicts within the household. The shadow often enters through division. Arguments flare up over small matters, peace evaporates quickly, and your family member may feel isolated or misunderstood. The goal is to separate them emotionally so that when danger approaches, they feel no one stands with them. If you have noticed sudden distance between you and this loved one, consider it a sign. The fifth sign is a change in physical health or energy. Sometimes the shadow drains strength in subtle ways: headaches, fatigue, dizziness, or unusual ailments that doctors cannot fully explain. It may not look serious, but spiritually it is. The body is signaling that something unseen is at work. The sixth sign is financial or situational setbacks. Your loved one may face doors closing suddenly, opportunities collapsing, or resources drying up. This is more than bad luck, it is the shadow trying to weaken their stability, leaving them vulnerable to despair. And finally, the most serious sign, your own inner unease. You cannot shake the thought that something is wrong. You may brush it aside, but it returns. You may tell yourself it's only worry, but it lingers. This is heaven's whisper, urging you not to ignore what your spirit already knows. The signs may come gently, but they are not gentle in meaning. They are cries for action. Every moment you dismiss them, the shadow grows stronger. But every moment you acknowledge them, you weaken its grip. The purpose of the signs is not to scare you, but to awaken you. Fear paralyzes, but awareness empowers. Consider this: throughout history, divine warnings have always come with signs. Before the flood, Noah saw the heavens shift. Before destruction, Lot felt the urgency to leave the city. Before danger strikes your family, you are given these signals so that you may rise as their protector. Do not wait until the signs turn into tragedy. Do not wait for the accident, the sickness, the sudden loss. Act now, while the shadow has only revealed its presence, not yet carried out its plan. These signs are heaven's mercy, proof that you are not alone, and proof that what is coming can still be stopped. If you are honest with yourself, you already recognize one or more of these signs in your loved one. The shadow has left its fingerprints. But recognition is power. To see the sign is to have the opportunity to respond. The message is urgent. Your eyes must stay open, your heart must stay sensitive, and your spirit must remain awake. For the one who notices the signs and acts upon them becomes the difference between tragedy and triumph. You may wonder, Why me? Why am I the one receiving this warning? Why am I the one being told that a loved one's life is hanging in the balance? The answer is simple, yet profound, because heaven has entrusted you with the power to stop it. Every family has a watchman. Every household has someone chosen to stand in the gap when danger approaches. You may not feel qualified, you may not feel strong enough, but the very fact that you are reading this message proves that you have been appointed. Heaven does not waste warnings on those who are powerless. If the revelation has come to you, it is because the authority to act rests with you. This power is not found in human strength alone. It does not come from wealth, position, or education. It comes from the Spirit that dwells within you. It comes from the divine covering that flows when you choose to rise in prayer, in faith, and in declaration. You have been given the ability to shift the course of events. Understand this truth: the shadow has a plan, but heaven has a greater plan. The enemy seeks to destroy, but you have been handed the key to preserve. What is that key? It is your voice in prayer. It is your faith in action. It is your authority to declare life where death has been announced. Do not underestimate the power of a single prayer spoken with conviction. Time and again, lives have been spared because one person stood up and cried out to heaven. Tragedy was turned away because one heart refused to accept defeat. That same power rests in you. Think of how battles are won in the unseen realm. The shadow thrives on silence, fear, and passivity. But when you lift your voice, when you call upon divine protection, you release light into the darkness. Light does not negotiate with darkness, it replaces it. No matter how thick the shadow appears, it cannot resist the brilliance of even the smallest flame. You are that flame for your family member. This power is also found in your role as a protector. Whether you are a parent, sibling, spouse, or relative, your connection to your loved one gives you the right to intercede on their behalf. You can stand before heaven and declare, "This life will not be taken. This soul will not be lost. This family will not be broken." And heaven will honor your words because they flow from love and faith. You may feel fear, but remember this: fear is the enemy's tool. The shadow wants you to tremble, to believe you are helpless, to bow under the weight of despair. But courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is choosing to act despite fear. And once you take that step, you will see that the power within you is greater than the darkness surrounding you. This is why you can stop it, because you have been awakened to the danger. Those who sleep cannot fight, but you are awake now. You know the truth, and knowing gives you the advantage. The shadow depends on ignorance, but revelation strips it of strength. Heaven has armed you with everything needed: faith, authority, love, and awareness. You are not alone. Angels stand ready to respond to your call. Divine covering is prepared to stretch over your family member the moment you act. All of creation waits for your decision, because your decision determines whether tragedy is permitted or blocked. Do not doubt yourself. Do not say, "Who am I to stop death?" You are the chosen watchman. You are the voice of protection. You are the one heaven trusts. And that trust means this: you have the power to stop it. The warning has been delivered. The shadow has been exposed. Now the question is no longer, what is happening? But, what must I do right now? Time is critical, and hesitation gives the shadow room to move. Immediate action is the shield that stops tragedy before it strikes. The first thing you must do is pray with authority. Do not whisper, do not beg, and do not doubt. Stand in the center of your home, call your family member's name, and declare life over them. Say with strength, "No weapon formed against you will prosper. No shadow of death will claim you. I cover you in divine protection." Your words are not just sound, they are power. The second thing you must do is seal your household with protection. Walk through your rooms and declare peace. Speak over every doorway and every corner. Only light is welcome here. Only life may dwell in this place. Darkness has no place in my home. If you have oil, water, or even your own hands, use them as symbols of blessing, marking the rooms, releasing a covering that shuts out the shadow. The third thing you must do is stand watch over your loved one. Stay spiritually alert. Check on them more often. Speak encouragement into their heart. Do not let them isolate themselves, because isolation is the shadow's doorway. Remind them that they are loved, that their life matters, that their future is secure. The fourth thing you must do is remain consistent. A single prayer is powerful, but sustained vigilance drives the shadow away permanently. For the next 7 days, set aside moments to pray specifically for your family member's life. Repeat declarations of life, health, and protection daily. Each word builds a wall of light around them. And finally, you must believe. Faith is your weapon. Do not speak death with your mouth while praying for life. Align your thoughts, your words, and your heart with the promise of protection. See your family member alive, safe, and preserved. That vision is your shield against fear. Act now. Speak now. Declare now. For every second you move in faith, the shadow loses ground. And with your immediate action, tragedy will not write your family's story. Life will. The shadow came with the intention to steal, kill, and destroy, but it has been unmasked. Its plan has been interrupted. Its power has been weakened by the very fact that you chose to open this message, to listen, to rise, and to act. What was meant for death will now turn into a testimony of life. Hear this clearly. Life has been spoken over your family member. The covering of heaven has stretched over them, and the forces of darkness cannot resist it. The shadow that once pressed against your household has already begun to lift, because revelation always precedes deliverance. Where there is light, darkness cannot remain. You are not powerless, and you are not alone. Even now, angels stand at the corners of your home, guarding, shielding, and preserving. They respond not to fear but to faith, and your decision to declare life has summoned their presence. The shadow sought to silence you, but instead you became the watchman, the protector, the guardian of your family's destiny. From this moment forward, walk in confidence. Do not look over your shoulder in dread, expecting tragedy. Look forward with expectation, knowing that life has been secured. The same God who warned you is the same God who delivers. The same Spirit that stirred you awake is the same Spirit that surrounds your loved one now. Bless your household with words of life daily. Speak peace into every room, joy into every heart, and hope into every plan. When you open your mouth to declare goodness, you are not just speaking, you are shaping reality. Life responds to life. Light attracts more light. Blessings multiply where faith is planted. Remember this, the shadow does not return where it has been resisted with strength. Your consistent declarations of protection form a hedge that the enemy cannot cross. Each day you choose faith, you build a stronger fortress around your family. So now I release this final benediction over you and your household. May every shadow that sought your destruction dissolve under the power of divine light. May your family member live, thrive, and fulfill their destiny in strength and joy. May your home be filled with peace that surpasses all understanding, a peace that no tragedy can shatter. May angels encamp around you, standing guard day and night, turning away every threat before it comes near. May your faith remain unshaken, your words remain strong, and your spirit remain alert. May your household be known as a place of preservation, not loss, of testimonies, not tragedies, of victories, not defeats. The shadow is broken. The grip of death is released. The cry of despair is silenced. And in its place rises the song of life. Walk boldly. Live confidently. Love freely. For your family member shall not be taken. Their life is preserved. Their destiny is protected. And your obedience has shifted what could have been a story of sorrow into a testimony of divine intervention. This is the final word. Life reigns in your household. Death has no claim. The shadow has no place. The light has come, and it will remain. Amen.